Prime Minister famously promised during the election that he would negotiate a win, and I quote, with the U.S. President, get a deal by July 21st. Here we are in December, months after his self-imposed deadline, still no win, still no deal, still no elbows, still no jobs. Since he became Prime Minister promising an end to U.S. tariffs, they've actually doubled on autos, aluminum, steel, and they've tripled on Canadian lumber, a subject about which the member for Cariboo Prince George will be speaking as I split the time with him. Now, that brings the tariff to 45% on Canadian lumber, the highest in Canadian history. Now, before we go from the normal liberal transition that they make around this time, from making promises to making excuses, where they suggest that there's nothing they could possibly do about American tariffs on Canadian lumber, let's be clear. Prime Minister Stephen Harper negotiated an end to and refund of American softwood lumber tariffs within 79 days of becoming Prime Minister. This Liberal government has been in power for 10 years, and they have not been able to get rid of the tariffs that were imposed on Canada mere months after then Prime Minister Trudeau took office. Furthermore, since this Prime Minister came into office, not only has he failed in more than double the time as Prime Minister that Stephen Harper had to get a deal, not only has he failed to achieve the same, but the tariffs have tripled to levels not even imaginable before he took office. Now, you might have asked, what is it that he could have done differently? This Prime Minister not only failed to make softwood lumber a negotiating priority in his dealings with President Trump, he unilaterally backed down. He reversed Canada's dispute of multiple legal disputes against the illegal and indefensible tariffs. And let me read a headline right out of Bloomberg. Canada ends fight against some U.S. softwood lumber duties. Ottawa has revoked 2 separate claims disputing U.S. anti-dumping duties. He claimed, this Prime Minister claimed, this was a, quote, strategic choice, that he was making some kind of brilliant chess move, backing away and giving a major concession to the U.S. administration without getting anything in return. And let's be clear, there is not a single tariff that the American tariff that this Prime Minister got reduced in exchange for this concession. It was a unilateral climb down. And since that time, the U.S. President has not only increased tariffs, but broadened them to new products not previously covered, like cabinetry and trucks. So the Prime Minister, who claimed that these tariffs were an existential threat to Canada, requiring his immediate election back in the spring, now says, who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Crazy. When he's asked about how the talks are going with the U.S. We've gone from elbows up to who cares. That's the distinction between the pre-election Prime Minister and the post-election Prime Minister. I'll tell you who cares. We care. That's right. We care about the workers, the 30 sawmills in British Columbia that have closed under this Liberal government's diplomatic failures. We care about the 150 union workers laid off at the Ear Falls sawmill.
We care about the workers in Chibougamau.
150 workers who lost their jobs at the 100 Mile House in BC and amid market challenges. We care about the 350 workers at the Sinclair Forest Group facing now a 40% production cut. Madam Speaker, this is a massive industry of over $20 billion that has more people working in it than steel, aluminum, and autos combined. We need these jobs. Conservatives will put negotiating the end to the softwood lumber tariffs at the front of our objectives. We will take all taxes off home building so that we can use more Canadian lumber to build more affordable homes. Housing, after all, is a tariff-proof industry because after you build those homes in Canada, they do not face U.S. tariffs. We will speed up permitting, free up land, and build more homes, all of which will revitalize and rebuild our logging and our mill towns so that they can have great jobs providing the best lumber anywhere in the world. Thank you, Madam Speaker.